On everyone, my name is Matt Jarbo. This is Stranger Days. And one of the stupidest things that I think that our government does from time to time is ban some weapons, right? I understand the concept behind banning weapons. I understand the whole reasoning behind wanting to do it. I get it. But what I'm not a giant fan of is when when I feel like it's done for the stupidest of reasons, right? It's done because people feel that, or at least lawmakers feel that people can't be responsible with tools in their hands, especially when those tools are ninja weapons, because ninja weapons are pretty fucking awesome and they never get enough love because they always have dual purposes, right? You hear about this different weapons, like the Ninja Turtle weapons, right? Like, no, but go back to their origins, and they had legitimate uses, and they were used by like the farmers to fight back against some bad people. At least that's the story I heard growing up. If that is the reality of the situation, cool. If not, I'm sure somebody in the comments will absolutely school me on that one. That's fine. You can educate me. That's why we're here. Anyway, a federal court now says that a New York ban on nunchucks is unconstitutional. And you goddamn right it is. People have been oppressing Michelangelo for far too long. The world needs to know that the crime fighters known as the TMNT can actually now operate at full capacity now that Michelangelo is no longer blocked from ordering new nunchucks from on the internet. Now, it says here that 1974 New York State ban on nunchucks that was put into place over fears that youth inspired by martial arts movies would create widespread mayhem is unconstitutional under the Second Amendment, a federal court has ruled. Okay, so let's just real quick. Back in the 1970s, right? Back in the 1970s, there was a martial arts craze. And all the kids out there were all kyo, right? And the parents were like freaking out because they're afraid that the kids are going to grab the weapons and go to town on each other. South Park parodied that perfectly in that one anime episode. I cannot remember the title right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But when I was a kid, it was the movie Three Ninjas that came out in like 93 or something. And it wasn't met with as much as much fear mongering at the time, because it was basically like Home Alone, but for ninjas, and it worked out pretty well. Anyway, Judge Pamela Chen. Yeah, Pamela Chen. That's awesome. I'm just saying it's an Asian judge ruling that this is unconstitutional. Let's just be fair. That's pretty badass. All right. That's like the one person who should know. You know what I mean? It's like, she gets it. She's like, no, these are just like, you people in the 70s were stupid. She issued the ruling on Friday in a Brooklyn federal court. The plaintiff, James Maloney, started his legal quest after being charged with possession of nunchucks in his home in 2000. Imagine that. The NYPD breaks down your door. Sir, we're here to confiscate your nunchucks. Nah, but I'm just getting back into Turtles. Son of a bitch, I'm cosplaying as Michelangelo. Now I have to go as Donatello. He initially filed the complaint in 2003, appealed it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court when the case went against him. The Supreme Court in 2010 remanded the case back down to be reconsidered in light of the Second Amendment decision that it had made in another case. Maloney had been focusing on getting a part of the law overturned that banned nunchucks, two rigid rods connected by chains. In her ruling, Chen said the courts couldn't simply take that part out and ruled that the state's law, as it pertained to possessing nunchucks, as well as manufacturing, transporting, or disposing of them, was in violation of the Second Amendment. So if you happen to be walking down the street and you come across a pair of nunchucks, just randomly, all of a sudden there's a pair of discarded nunchucks, you can actually be in trouble for throwing them away. Or transporting them or anything, I guess. Touching them gets you in trouble. Point and scream, wait for a cop to show up. Blow your rape whistle because you found nunchucks. The ruling went over the history of the ban, and it said it arose out of a concern as a result of the rising popularity of kung fu movies and shows. Various cycles in the state's youth, including muggers and street gangs, were widely using nunchaku to cause many serious injuries. So people were figuring out that you could actually beat somebody up with nunchucks, and that it works outside of the movies, which is true. It's two pieces of wood connected by a chain. If I recall, wasn't this meant to like beat down the reeds and like the farms? That's why it was there, not just to seriously fuck somebody up, but there's that. Anyway, in an email to the AP, Maloney said that perhaps the most amazing thing was getting more relief than he asked for. Maloney, who is a professor at the State University of New York's Maritime College, said some of his motivation was outrage. How could a state simply ban any and all possession of a weapon that had a long and proud history as a martial arts weapon with recreational, therapeutic, and self-defense utility? Hold up. What about a nunchuck is considered therapeutic? Anyway, he wants to teach a formal art of it to his sons that he created. Okay. So you got you got this dude who's been a nunchuck aficionado for a long time. Goes to court, goes to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court bumps it back down. Years later, gets in front of a federal judge who happens to be Asian, looks at the ban and goes, wait, they were afraid of kids using this on other kids? Or they were afraid of it corrupting the youth? This is dumb. Huck that out. 40 years later, 44 years later, finally overturns it. And then the dude wants to teach his children a form of martial arts using nunchucks that he created, which he calls Shafan Ha-Levan. Okay. So, dude clearly has been holding on to nunchucks in violation of New York state law 4 years, secretly, in practice, or in private, creating a form of martial arts using the nunchucks that he has himself dubbed Shafan Ha-Levan. He wants to use this to teach his children how to do the same type of martial arts study that he invented using illegally gotten weaponry inside the state of New York. Am I the only one that just thinks that with the cancellation of Daredevil on Netflix, this is what's going to be happening? There's a coincidence here, folks. There's a coincidence. There's a total coincidence. Netflix canceled Daredevil. A professor at the State University of New York's Maritime College comes out, wins a federal case, freeing nunchucks. Now he will don a mask and take Shafan Ha-Levan to the streets. Get ready, New York. You're gonna be a lot safer. It's not gonna be the man without fear. It's probably gonna be the man without beer. But now nunchucks are legal, so prepare to be saved by him whenever they possibly might happen. But I leave it to you. What are your thoughts on this? Was this a stupid ban in the first place? Or should they reconsider the ban because now it does appear like this guy is going to be teaching people how to use nunchucks, and that could lead to a martial arts craze that could sweep over the state and cause anarchy and chaos because apparently somebody in the 1970s watched The Warriors and freaked out about what would happen if street gangs got wood and chains and made them together into a wild weapon. Anyway, my name is Matt Charpo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.